Today we're going to build a magic sandpaper holder. Okay, it's not really magic, but it is really cool. Now this is not my typical YouTube video, guys. This is just what I do when I put a free set of plans up on my website. There's usually a build video that goes along with it. And this is the build video that goes along with the free plans for the magic sandpaper holder on my website. Let me know what you think of this. I had a lot of feedback and asking to share it, so I'm putting it up on the YouTube channel just for everybody to see. I hope you enjoy.
Today we're doing that. Well, let's get started. So for today's project, I'm using some scrap 1/2 inch that I had laying around and some, well, it's not really 1/8, it's like 3/16. It's not 1/4. So I'm going to use that as well. This doesn't have to be super heavy duty because we're just storing sandpaper on it. So what I've done is laid out spaces for 4 inches and then just shy of a 1/2 inch for my 1/2 inch plywood, which really isn't 1/2 inch plywood. It's close. So I messed up when I laid this out. I forgot to leave a 1/2 inch down here for my end piece. Now if I was using 1/2 inch for the sides, I could have just put it on the bottom. But since I'm not, I went ahead and left an extra 1/2 inch up here, so instead of putting my piece on the line, I'm going to go above the line, and that's just a quick fix. So to start with, I'm going to glue everything down. 2p10 activator. If you guys have seen my videos, you know this is my favorite way of doing things. See, when I glued this last one in, I didn't have a support, so it's a little bit bent, but I think it'll be all right as long as I pay attention to that when I put this together. A really smart person would put spacers in here, so those would be all perfectly lined up. But since none of those are in the shop today, we're just going to wing it. Oh, that one's really crooked. You didn't catch that one either, man. Jeez. All right, so I did get one that was a little bit out. My cameraman, Nick, didn't catch it. So I'm just gonna gently separate that. Got a little tear out, but nothing too bad. Then I'm gonna move it over and I'm gonna pin it. Now, when I'm doing that, I wanna make very sure that my fingers are nowhere near that and that the air compressor is actually turned on. There we go. All right. Well, now I'm gonna do a little bit of sanding. Well, you know what? I'm gonna have Nick do a little bit of sanding since he didn't catch that little screw up there. And I think I'm gonna go take a nap. Here you go, Nick.
Thanks, bud. Oh, this works great.
So I'm going to go ahead and glue these 2 pieces on the back. Now there's an opening in the center here for a 3rd piece that will slide up and down, and that piece will carry some weighted parts that will hold the sandpaper in place when we're not actually needing them. And I'm not going to worry about the length yet. I'll cut that off on the chop box or with a handsaw after I have everything in place.
While I'm nailing this together, I'd like to take a minute and apologize to you, the viewer. Genius Magic Sandpaper Holder might have been a stretch for a title, but it seems in the ever-changing climate of YouTube, the more fantastical the title, the more views you're going to get. So, far be it for me to argue and just do what works. Sorry.
So I just marked out where all of the shelves are on this piece. I'm going to come a little bit above that, in this case probably about 3/4 of an inch or so. And then right here I'm going to come down from that shelf again, probably go about 3/4 of an inch as well. So there'll be a groove in here that that weight will float on. So when I lift up, it'll pick that weight up I'll have access to the sandpaper. When I set it back down, it'll hold the sandpaper down and have enough motion to move back and forth here about 2.5 inches, which should be enough for what our intentions here today. Oh wait, what am I doing? Nick! So the way this is going to work is these are going to go in here and turn this way, and they're going to float back in here, so they'll have a little weight on them. Now I can add some weight to this with just some pieces of metal or some washers to give it a little more if I need it. I don't know that it's going to need it. It doesn't take a whole lot of weight to hold sandpaper down. But that's going to go on this side, on the other side, so let's pull this one out of here and see if we can actually get it in there. This is where the true test comes in. So we need to take a little bit off of there. And not much. So you can see I can't quite turn it far enough, so I just got to mark that out. And what I'll do, I think, in the build, the actual build, is maybe put these in prior to putting the back on, like I did this time. This is what happens when you build while you're designing. Sometimes you end up with these little faux pas. So now that we have that in place, so the way this will work is we'll push up on this back piece here, and it'll lift up. But it'll also, when we let it down, it'll float. So if we have bunches of sandpapers in here, it'll weight that down and keep it flat. So all I'll have to do when I want a piece of sandpaper is push up the bottom, grab a piece out, and push it flat. To capture this slide in the build here, we need to put something in place. So I'm just using some scrap pieces of pine that are slightly bigger than the rail here. So those will ride in that, and they won't interfere with these little notches that capture our weights. So that's the hope. That'll give it enough room for this little tab to float back and forth behind it, and then we can actually screw through here into a wall to fasten it. All right, so the whole thing is, no matter how big of a stack of sandpaper you have, whether it's a small one or a bigger one, when you pull this down, the weights will hit whatever size that is and hold your sandpaper flat. So when you need a piece, just push up on the lever, grab what you need, pull back down, and that'll make sure that you keep it really nice flat sandpaper and have really easy access to it. So that's this build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, like I said before, you'll see it when you come to the video. There's a set of plans you can download. Please do so. Follow the build on that. That'll be a little bit easier than this particular build.
Thank you so much for watching, and as always, your views, comments, and interactions are well received. Have a great day.